What is going on, everybody? Happy Friday, and welcome back to another edition of NFL Turf Talk. We are breaking down the entire Week 3 slate that took place just last weekend, as well as the Thursday night game matchup in the NFC West between the Cardinals and the Seahawks, coming down to a field goal last night. Field goal, interesting, Scotty. We're going to be talking about a lot of them. Some made, some missed, kickers getting cut, blocked field goals to end games being returned for touchdowns. We got a lot to get into, man. We're also going to update our top 10 power rankings heading into week 4, as well as our tier rankings. We're going to see, do they differ a little bit in between the 10 and the rest of the field? I'm one half your host, guys, as always, Dylan Davis. To my right, my faithful co-host, Scotty. Make sure to tap in, check us out on Twitter, hit that follow button, and as always, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can find the link in our link tree, in our bio, at DSM_media on Twitter. Let's get to it, brother. How you doing?
Yes, sir. Happy Friday, my man. Just getting the stream shared out here, but obviously a busy week of football, as you mentioned. I was watching Good Morning Football this morning and saw, the crew. Well, part of the crew, I think it was just one of them, are in Dublin, Ireland for the 9:30 game on Sunday. So, we got the Vikings and Steelers this weekend, international style, which they never seem to send like a great game over there. That's for sure. But that was interesting nonetheless, as the NFL continues to expand. And last night, man, I don't know about you, I guess I missed all the action because I fell asleep at halftime. That shit was so fucking boring.
I mean, the third quarter was more of the same. It really came down to like the last 6 minutes of the game.
Yeah. I had some Marvin Harrison Jr. props, and I was looking at those in the first half, like, oh my god! I had McBride tutty. Oh my god, man! I had the McBride tutty, and I'm looking at Kyler Murray just like throwing the ball to Seattle, like just like have it, Seattle. But yeah, like you said, apparently it was a popping fourth quarter. Marvin Harrison Jr. got popping off, so. We'll talk about that for a little bit, but mostly just get into last week's action as we get closer to this week, man, which I feel like this week's going to be another interesting week, man. We're getting into those middling weeks where you start to really figure out what teams are trending towards, right? Start to weed out some of the pretenders from the contenders. Yeah. So I'm interested to see how these next few weeks go, man. And something that popped into my mind, man, just as I'm talking to you, this is random as hell. We're both Eagles fans. I'm buying those Eagles Lions tickets next Wednesday, man. So,
all right,
let us know.
Look into it.
I'm gonna make it happen. The ticket prices, man, honestly, they've gone down since the beginning of the season a little bit. Like, it's weird. Right. Even the Broncos game was looking like very, very affordable, but yeah, we locked in on the Lions-Eagles game, so that will be fun. Lions obviously put on a show.
Had to wait to see how they looked against another contender before we decided that.
But let's get into it, brother. Yeah. Happy Friday, my man.
Yes, sir. We're just going to get into a few of our takeaways from week 3. Obviously, take a look at that game last night and move forward. It won't be too long of a show, guys. So comment any games you want to get into, any takeaways you have. There's drama all over the league right now. But it's funny, man. I guess I'll start with one of the things that you said, which is kind of these middling weeks, late September, getting into October, kind of figuring out who teams are, who's real, who's not. Yeah. And they're kind of just weeding each other out by letting the average to mediocre teams play each other. And what I mean by that, from like weeks 1 to 2 to 3 and like what we're seeing, right? Like you have a Vikings team who comes from behind week 1 against Chicago. JJ McCarthy and the offense look terrible in week 2 in their opener against the Falcons. And then they come out with Carson Wentz, and the defense and the special teams are doing all sorts of crazy stuff. They dropped 48 on the Bengals in a big win, right? Yeah. I think that's just who the Vikings are. I think they're an average team that is going to beat average teams. You look at the Falcons reversely, right? The Falcons get their first win on Sunday Night Football in Minnesota. Michael Penix, Bijan Robinson, that offense looks really good. The Falcons come out as favorites and get shut out 30-0 in Carolina against the Panthers. You look at the Jags-Texans game, right? The Texans right now look like they stink. The Jags are 2-1, but the Jags have not looked good in any game, right? They're
Right.
turning the ball over against Jake Browning in Cincinnati. They lose in week 2. They score 17 against the Texans and win by a touchdown against a bad offense. It's just what some of these teams are, I think, man. I think they're starting to just kind of, like I said, weed each other out, right? You have the Cardinals. Now, I think Seattle is better than an average team. I think Seattle is a good team. I think they're a playoff contender. So I want to, I don't want to be too hard on Arizona, but Arizona started out the gate, 2-0.
2-0, yeah.
And now they're sitting at 2-2 when they started to play, decent competition in San Fran and Seattle. I think they're just kind of weeding themselves out by just showing their true colors against each other. I always, when someone shows you who they are, Scotty, believe them.
Yeah.
And I think that's what these average teams are doing right now, week to week.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. When you look back on this week specifically, you start to see, like you said, teams weed each other out. I do want to hone in on the Texans, man. I think that has to be like the biggest disappointment of the season so far. Like, it has to be, right? Like, we thought that they would not only win that division, the AFC South, but like run away with it a little bit, like at least, right? Like the 2-game separation type shit. No, they're what, 0-3 to start the season, man, and have lost against 1 or 2 division opponents so far.
Let me check for you. Obviously, they had the Jacksonville game, just one. They played the Rams and the Bucks before that.
So not too far behind the needle, but still, the Rams and the Bucks, those are 2 playoff teams for sure. But like, this is a team, once again, that you expect to win their division, to be a playoff team. You expect specifically CJ Stroud to look better, or at least the same as he did last year. He looks worse. And I think that's the biggest concern with the Texans moving forward, is just kind of the culture that's around their team right now. It's just, it feels bad. Like, it doesn't feel good. You see CGJ get released to, he's a free agent now or whatever. And Stroud's not playing good football. I think that's what it comes down to. He's turning the ball over.
2 more picks this week.
Points. 10 points against the Jags. Jake Browning put up how many points against the Jags? Like, the Jags have a decent defense, but it's not like that, man. You should be putting up more than 10 points. And I do want to just hone in on that game specifically, man, because I remember last week on our show, we said it would be like one way or the other, right? Like, Texans would hold it down and it would be all defense and they would come away with the win, or it would be points and the Jags would run away with it that way. And it was kind of the opposite.
Yeah,
both
Jags won a
defensive battle where turnovers, it was a sloppy mess, and they take the win. Which, you look at those 2 teams, and who would you think would win a sloppy defensive battle? You would think the Texans, but no.
They should. They absolutely should, especially with the way that Trevor Lawrence has been turning the ball over to start the year. The problem is your own quarterback was doing that. And this one, look, this is you can make the argument that the Houston Texans have a championship caliber defense. This is a starting pitcher just getting no run support. That's what this is right now, Scotty. I mean, their defense hasn't let up more than 20 points in a game. They let up 14 in LA against the Rams. The offense kicked 3 field goals. They let up 20 against Baker and the Bucks. The offense scored 7 on the opening drive. Looked great to Nico Collins. Did nothing almost the rest of the game. They hold the Jags to 17. The offense scores 10 and coughs the ball up a couple of times. It's a great starting pitcher getting no run support, start after start after start. This is a game you had Christian Kirk in. Now, I'm only looking at the box score, was not paying attention to this game, obviously, was watching the Eagles and the 1 o'clock slate. So I don't know how active Christian Kirk was. I don't know what his snap count was. I don't know how much they had him and Nico and Schultz all on the field together. But you had more weapons at your disposal, right? You didn't just have only Nico Collins, and you still can't put drives together. You still can't put points on the board, man. CJ Stroud is not playing good football. I don't want to hear it from the quarterback lovers like Dan Orlovsky and certain people on national media to blaming it on all offensive. Look, there's a lot that's to do with it, right? Joe Mixon's out. Nick Chubb looks like a shell of himself. They can't really run the ball. That's not helping their case. Before this week, they only had Nico Collins. They didn't have a number 2 receiver. That's not helping his case. The bottom line is the good quarterbacks, the great quarterbacks find ways to win games and put points on the board, man. You're doing neither right now. And the bottom line is the Jags are mediocre. They're not a great team. They're 2-1. The Bucks are 3-0. The Rams were a hair away from being 3-0. You're playing 3 good teams. Again, When someone shows you who they are, believe them. The Texans could come out this week and beat the piss out of the Titans at home. It's not going to change a goddamn thing about this team.
And I'll get out in front of that one. I just don't think so. Like, I don't.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think they're going to beat the hell out of anybody.
I think it's going to be a sloppy defensive type of game. Like, I think it's going to be exactly what we saw with the Jags. I think the Texans obviously should win, but yeah, to your point, not playing.
You would hope, man.
Good football.
Yeah.
And yeah, to that point, like, if look at the way the Colts are playing right now, and mind you, it is like super hard for me to believe in Daniel Jones. Like, it really is, but the proof is in the pudding. 3 games so far. They're not only beating teams, they're putting points on the board. Like, they're operating offensively at a successful level, right? They put up close to 30 points against the Broncos in that W. So that's supposed to be a good defense. They go out and they shell up the Titans this weekend, which, to be fair, the Titans are not a good football team, but they have played teams close in both of their matchups to start the season.
Yeah, and did he did it on the road? Yeah, that's the last thing I would say about Houston, man, is not only, does it not look good, but in a sense, you always feel like, oh, it's September. You got all year to figure it out. They can turn things around.
Yeah.
Well, not when your counterparts are 3-0. You have dug yourself quite a hole to start this year. So it'll be interesting, man. My next takeaway, it's not really a takeaway, it's more just an observation and just questioning what the hell was in the water around the National Football League last week. I mean, within what? A 10-minute span, 3 field goals were blocked across in 3 different games that changed the result of the game. The Eagles blocked 2 in back-to-back possessions, or 2 out of their last 3 possessions. Obviously, Jordan Davis runs it back. We talked about that on Monday. You had the Jets block 1, return it for a touchdown, and then the Bucs go right back down and end the game on a field goal. You had the Browns down 10 late in the game. Jordan Love turnover, they get points. They block a field goal, puts them in range. They win a game.
Insane.
I mean, I don't know what the hell was happening around the league last week, but just bang, 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 block field goal, block field goal, block field goal. And it changed the outcome of all the games.
Do you think it's like a scheme thing? Like, are people figuring out like just better?
I don't know. I mean, they were done in different ways, right? Because the Jets, it was like a safety or someone like hurdled the line of scrimmage and got his hands up.
Okay.
I think the Browns came from the edge. I could be wrong there, but if I remember, the Browns came around the edge, kind of like the diving block, like you would prototypically see.
Yeah.
The Eagles, again, I'm not just saying this because I'm an Eagles fan and we figured out a way. When you have 2 guys the size of Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, that's a little bit more planned out. Like, basically, like Jalen Carter just bodied who he had a body to create the space for Jordan Davis to not be touched and get the hand. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, hurdling a line, you're just hoping you don't touch anybody, right? But it's interesting to think about because it's becoming I guess a little bit more common than we've seen in previous years. Add on top of it how many missed kicks we've seen in 3 weeks as well. Kickers being released, re-signed elsewhere. Like, it's a bad year to be a kicker, bro.
Yeah, and then you also throw on the kickoff phenomenon that was going on in the
happened
Eagles
last night. Yeah, you said you fell asleep. I don't know if you saw that this morning.
No.
So Arizona tied the game up with like a minute left or slightly under a minute left at 20, and their kicker he missed the landing zone by like a quarter of a yard. So it's a flag, and Arizona starts at like the 40 or whatever because of the new rule. So like he missed whatever the landing zone is. It starts at the 20, whatever. Yeah. It literally landed like this far in front of the 20-yard line on the ground, and bang, Arizona Seattle only needs a field goal. And Sam Darnold finds a way to go down and get it done. But very, very weird 3 weeks for kickers.
Special teams importance. Yeah, it's interesting. It just shows how important all facets of the game are. The next one I'll throw to you, man.
Yeah.
The Baltimore Ravens. It's not just that they lost to 2 playoff teams. It's also that they just look like really soft. When I'm watching them play, I mean, obviously David Montgomery ran through the Baltimore Ravens. We watched James Cook run through the Baltimore Ravens. They were able to take care of business against the Browns, but They played two good teams, two playoff contenders so far this season, and they have gotten demolished defensively. And the other side of it, man, Derrick Henry, 3 fumbles, 3 straight weeks. He looks like I thought he was about to cry. Like it was. I was feeling like sad for the big man. Like damn, this shit is bringing the king down. Like it's crazy to watch it play out. And he's just getting stripped. And mind you, it's Aiden Hutchinson, man. Like he's one of the best.
Yeah, it's a great play. Yeah,
it's just ironic that it's happened 3 weeks in a row.
The Bills fumble.
He's not getting touches.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say because look, and it's very weird to try to figure out what's going on in Baltimore offensively, right? Because they are scoring a lot of points, right? They scored 40 points in week 1. They scored 30 points
the ball well.
Right. So it's like I'm about to say, oh, well, they need to run the ball more, but Lamar was 21 of 27, almost 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, didn't turn the ball over, right? Had a very successful night last week against Cleveland in the win, right? So it's like, all right, well, the passing game's going. He's protecting the football. They're very efficient. They're coming up with explosive plays. It's not a necessity, but you go back and you're looking at how their defense is getting beat. You're looking at what has made their offense with Lamar Jackson last year with Derrick Henry so sustainable all these years. It's been the rushing attack. And yes, the fumbles may be playing a factor in it, but Derrick Henry didn't fumble the ball until there was like 5 or 4 minutes left in this ball game.
Yeah.
Before that, he only touched the ball 11 times. And on one of the runs, he broke off a 20-plus yard TD run in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Last week, I know from just having him on fantasy, he scored me 2 fantasy points. I think he touched the ball 10 or 12 times last week on the ground.
Yeah.
You can argue, oh, well, they don't trust him right now, but that doesn't make sense because he didn't fumble till the end of the game in this one. So what was the excuse for not getting it to him early in the game? The Bills fumble can't happen. The Bills fumble just like very easily got punched out in front of him. This one, like Aiden Hutchinson's just trailing on a play. He's got 3 guys coming at him this way, and Hutchinson just comes from behind. He has no idea he's there. It's a great defensive play. I don't know how he fumbled last week in Cleveland. I don't know what that looked like. So it's interesting to keep an eye on, but they got to run the ball.
For me, man, it's just like I do agree. Like, running the football because it keeps your defense, it preserves them, right? It keeps them off the field as much. So I do feel you on that. I do just wonder if they're going through, like, I remember several times last season we were just saying, like, man, give Saquon the damn ball in the first half, right? Like, give him some touches in the first half. And it's like you preserve that horse for the second half to kind of finish teams off with the run game, right? And you have them full of energy. So I do feel you. I think he does need more touches. It's just like if he doesn't fumble, how many touches does he get on that drive? 5, maybe? Like I don't know. If they have
but the only question I would throw to you is that they really didn't prove that all game.
Right. But you know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the game, they're driving. You want to run some clock out, like, and just kind of tire the defense up. Right. I do feel you. At the end of the day, it's Derrick Henry. He needs to get more carries, and it is their identity. It's their defensive identity. They weren't able to get Lamar going on the ground in this game either. I think the Lions did a really good job with their linebackers containing him.
I mean, they sacked him 6-7 times in this game.
Yeah, they had him locked down in that pocket. Mind you, he had a great passing game, but I think the biggest thing as I was watching that game, man, I had one play. I had Derrick Henry touchdown and Ravens money line, and I think they might have been up in the third quarter, or maybe they were tied going into the fourth or something. Yeah. I just remember there was a certain point where I was just like, I had like a cash out that was like maybe double, or not double, but it was giving me $20 more than what I put on it. And I was just looking at it. I had some other play. I had the over in as well and some other plays. And I was just like, you know what, man? I just don't trust this Ravens team. Like, they will fuck it up. And mind you, that Derrick Henry fumble happened like maybe 5-10 minutes later. And I'm just sitting there like, and fucking Detroit's in like the 10-yard line on that possession. Yeah. So,
and then I believe the defense held stout on that drive. I think the Lions came away with a field goal, or maybe even missed a field goal. I can't remember. No, they made it.
I think you might be right. Yeah, they did hold them right there, and then they came out and weren't able to obviously finish this game off. They just look soft. That is not the Ravens that we know running the football.
I think we were texting about it that night. That defense is the biggest problem right now, man. And you just look at how the Lions came and beat them in their house. 7 more minutes of possession for Detroit. What's that equal? 224 rushing yards to 85 for Baltimore. Baltimore with the only turnover in the game, which was the Derrick Henry fumble. That's the difference, right? It's as much as, we love the exciting plays and we love the big throws, and it's a passing league, and it is. It definitely is, but it always goes down to winning football. And winning football is, can you run the ball? Can you play a clean game, win the turnover battle, and can you stop the run? And it's exactly what Detroit did.
It's such a good segue. Can I just give you my last takeaway? Because that was just such a great segue, Dylan. I think last week was a reminder, specifically with that Green Bay game and with the LA Rams and the Philadelphia Eagles game. It's a reminder that winning the football game is the most important objective.
People have somehow,
no matter how it looks, no matter how it looks, because I guarantee you, if Green Bay won that game against Cleveland, they would have been getting touted as winning a defensive masterclass type of game. They just out-physicaled Cleveland. No, it was the opposite. Cleveland out-physicaled them. They outplayed them, and they locked them down. And I think you look at on the other side of it with the Rams and the Eagles. Eagles go down 26-9 early? 26-7?
26-7.
26-7. They were down by 19 points, right? And they don't give up in that game. Rams, hell of a team. They learned that winning is the most important. It doesn't matter how many points you get up early in that one. So it was just funny to see two NFC foes that are right there with us. I'm not even going to argue that they're not the next teams up in the NFC that are going to be competing for us at the biggest stage. This week we got one up on them, man.
For sure. It's a great point. And obviously we'll talk about it on Faithful a little bit more, because obviously we play another NFC foe that's undefeated, that has had our number in previous years. Yeah. That's the biggest thing, though, right? Like it is all about that number in the win-loss column. Yeah. And obviously we were talking about running the football in the Detroit game. This was quite the opposite with the Eagles, right? They couldn't run the ball. Yeah. They had to throw it through the air. So there's different ways, and it's not always the prettiest, but like people coming away with some of these games, like if you're the Rams, you have to be feeling great. In what way?
Like why?
In what world? Like, okay, you proved that you could hang. You proved that you could hang last year. That doesn't matter. It matters about that number in the win column, and that's it. Point blank, period. So people, if anyone, I saw people saying if any team made a statement in this game, it was the Rams. What are we, like, again, people have just lost sight of what's most important, because now it's how it looks and who throws the and it's just, it makes no sense to me, bro. Like, again, I know we broke down the Eagles game already on another podcast, but it boggles my mind the way that people view the sport now, right? Like, Drew Brees. Drew Brees, it's ugly. I hate watching that offense. They've won 19 of their last 20 games with a Super Bowl.
Did he only watch the first half?
Right.
Like, is that what it is? Turned it off after the first half?
Correct. It makes, I don't know, man. It's very infuriating to watch. Let me ask you this before we get into our power rankings and the tiers and stuff. We got some bets in. You're not alone today, bro. You're not alone.
Flying in.
Just a few more things. My bad. This game in Minnesota was obviously won defensively. Isaiah Rodgers scores 2 touchdowns.
Ridiculous.
Cincinnati turned the ball over 72 times. There were multiple defensive touchdowns, like I said. So it's very, this isn't just look how the offense looked. Carson Wentz, 14 of 20, 173, 2 tutties, 48-10 victory. I mean, look, they would have won this game no matter who was under center.
Yeah.
Call it a coincidence if you'd like. Just saying. JJ McCarthy.
Yes, yeah. Show me again next week. They're in Dublin this weekend, so
Yeah.
Carson looks like he's got a little bit of
Like,
iron.
let me ask you that. Let me ask you. 9:30 a.m. Sunday morning, right? Carson Wentz travels the world, across the globe, looks good, and the Vikings become 3-1 and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. What do you do?
There's no way he takes JJ McCarthy's
What do you
job.
do?
There's no way.
I
There's
agree
no
with
way.
you. They invested
They got
too
rid of
much in
Sam
him.
Darnold. You know what I mean? Like that would make them look so like asinine.
Here's what I'll say about it. I agree with you. They invested too much in him. He's a first-round draft pick. You moved on from a top 10 MVP candidate last year who looks pretty good elsewhere in the NFC right now for this kid. They are not giving up on the kid after 2 weeks, right? I agree with you. But I know he's not good. Dylan Davis, in my heart of hearts, I know JJ McCarthy is not good. And if I was a Vikings fan, I'm not talking about the future. I'm not talking about Carson Wentz is the future. We all understand that story. What I'm saying is week to week, I want the best opportunity to win a football game. Players in the locker room want the best opportunity to win a football game. I'm just saying, he wins 2 more games and the Vikings are 4-1. I don't know how you, and then let's say you go back to the kid. Because after you do that, there is no going back. You go back to that kid, and the offense goes back to being stale, and he's throwing pick sixes, and they lose 2 games in a row. What do you tell your team? What do you tell your fan base?
I get your point. I do. I gotta see Carson Wentz.
A little bit.
I gotta see Carson Wentz do that. We just have not seen this guy win consecutive games, like, and how many seasons? Like, I gotta see it to believe it. They do have like a well-oiled, like, nice little machine there, right? With Addison's gonna be coming back soon. Justin Jefferson is out there. They got a couple middling receivers out there. You throw Mason in there. He looked really good on Sunday. We'll see, man. They should compete with the Steelers. It would be interesting to see them win. They definitely can.
If Carson Wentz was listening to Turf Talk right now, there are 2 things he has to do to find a way to sustain this stint. Protect the football and make the throws that JJ McCarthy can't make. Make those eye-popping throws. Make the tight window throw 25 yards over the middle of the field. Make the 60-yard pass down the boundary to Justin Jefferson. Make those throws and don't put your team in harm's way. You will win football games with this defense. And I'm just saying, let me stir that pot. The only reason I'm stirring this pot is because I just don't like JJ McCarthy. I don't think he has a successful career.
Still got a little love for Carson. It's okay, man.
No. It ain't even that. It ain't even
he was our favorite at one point, man. He was our MVP. He was our star. I get it. He was like our child we gave up. But
I just can't wait for them to go through the Carson Wentz experience. Like, I can't wait. I can't wait to watch Red Zone. This Sunday. It'll be on TV. Nothing else is on.
We'll get to watch that at the forefront, man.
I can't wait to watch him make this eye-popping play down the field and be like, oh my God, did you see that? And then 2 plays later, run backwards and fumble the ball off his own leg or something. Like, it's just very typical. Man. But
who knows? What their coach Kevin O'Connell, he has a way with quarterbacks from the looks of it. So
he does. We'll see
what he can do with them.
The question is, which quarterback gets his love?
I did want to ask you a question. You mentioned Sam Darnold, and we don't have to talk much about that game last night, but he looks like a good quarterback, right? Like, is he just good? Yeah. Is that what he is? Like, sometimes you just accept. Like, Baker went through some stretches where he looked poor. We accept that he's good. He's a good quarterback in the NFL.
I think Sam Darnold's a good quarterback. I think he's
getting to that like consistency level that
I think he's above middle of the pack. Like, if you had to rank him, I don't know if he would be like top 13 or top 14, but there's a group of guys I would lump him in with around that, between that like 11 to 12 to 15 spot. I think he's a good quarterback. On the other hand, I don't think Geno Smith is a good quarterback in Vegas. Like, those those are two guys that like moved systems and they're going to make their teams better. I think Sam Darnold makes his team better. I think they're going to be good this year, and they are good so far to start the year. Gino in Vegas, no. One last quarterback, John. We were just speaking of a young quarterback losing his job to a veteran, right? A veteran has lost his job to a young QB in the Meadowlands. They wanted Dart, bro. They were chanting it on national television.
Yeah.
We want Dart.
Do you blame him?
Dart. You wanted him, you got him. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I like Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
My question I want to pose to you and whoever's listening right now is, how big of a mistake is this? Yes, Russell Wilson outside the Dallas game has not looked good. The offense has looked stale. They played two good teams. They haven't moved the ball. They played one bad defense. They moved the ball all up and down the field. But it goes so much deeper than just the quarterback play. We watched Daniel Jones there for years, and now look at what he's doing. We watched Russell Wilson for a total of 3 weeks. Look what happened there. This is an offensive line problem. This is a talent problem. This is a scheme problem. This is an organizational problem. I'm telling you, man, maybe I'll be wrong, and maybe Jackson Dart wins 2 games in a row, and they're throwing the ball all over the place. I think it is an utter mistake to throw this kid and feed him to the wolves right now behind this line and in this offense.
I don't know, man. I don't want to use the word excited because it's the Giants.
From a viewing standpoint, from having Malik Neighbors in fantasy,
it's going to be a better watch.
It's fun. It's
like with Cam Scatabo back there, like Tracy just went down for a little bit. Like, I guess what I'm thinking is, can Jackson Dart use his legs more efficiently, more than Russell Wilson is able to right now at this point in his career? I don't know. I don't know. I would get both sides, I guess, because I do feel you. They're about to go and play the Chargers defense that is not going to give him any favorable looks or confidence going forward. And then they get the Saints, then you get the Eagles, and then you get the Broncos. So it's like the stretch is not going to be great for him. But at the same time, it's the NFL. Like, most of the time you either have it or you don't. I think you just got to see if he has it, man. Because like Russell Wilson, it's just.
But how many times?
It's not sustainable with the way the fans, like, you do. Like, I get, like, you know what I mean? Like, just that type of energy is just not sustainable to keep going week to week. I also think the bowl and his job security, like, you just have to try something to save your job in a sense.
I hear you. I think that's a great point. I think it is a very what's the word?
Kind of like making your point as well.
It's a very desperate move by Brian Dable and and Joe Sheen. It's very desperate to throw him out there and hope that the fan base, that it works, and now you can be embraced within the fan base and the organization, etc. Look, it's very difficult as a fan, but we know this being a Philly fan. Philly, Boston, New York, right? You're balancing the short term and the long term. This is to me, my point is, this is a fan produced move. This is not a smart organizational football run move. Yeah, if you got it, you got it. I do hear you in a sense. But how many young quarterbacks do we just see ruined because it's rushed? You brought Russell Wilson here for a purpose.
Yeah.
For him to sit back and learn and then, 3 weeks.
He's a first-round pick, like, right?
I don't know that matters. Aaron Rodgers was a first-round pick. He didn't play the whole first year.
That's
an outlier, sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel you. I do question. Like, did rushing them ruin them, or is it just that they were never going to be good in the NFL? Like,
I think
it's hard to know, right? Like,
an argument, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think there's just been a total shift in mentality of how to grow young quarterbacks, whether they're a first round pick or whether they're a 6th or 7th round pick. And I'm just looking because, again, when I say balancing as a fan, yes, I'm tired of watching this slop. We've watched it year on year after year after year. Look at how the season started. We're 0-3. It would be incredibly frustrating. But at the same time, you just have to be self-aware a little bit as a fan. Where the fuck are we going this year?
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that is it can go both ways though. Like that's a good reason to just throw them out there and let them get the experience. Like I do feel you. I do get your point.
So you're all right. I hear
it. Depends how they like. It depends on him, right? Like we would have to know what his mentality, like what his confidence is like. He looks like a very confident guy.
Yeah, so they're all confident. They're all
could bring some swag to the offense, man. Some flair. I don't know. I'm just. I do get your point.
So
I get both sides.
From your standpoint, what I kind of get is like there's no such thing as bad experience in this league. Like even if he gets punched in the mouth, he's getting the experience, commanding a huddle, being out there against the ones with the ones.
Yeah,
you are correct. All that matters is what's up here. But my point is, we've seen story after story of it looks like the guy until Jalen Carter's in his mug, play after play, week after week. Micah Parsons is in his face. I don't know. Listen, you backtrack excited because I'm not excited about the New York Giants. But from a watching, like if Jackson Dart was playing last Sunday against the Chiefs, that would have been way more exciting to watch.
A little more entertaining, right? Like I don't know. Like, am I misidentifying? Is he not a dual threat? Like, am I not thinking of that correctly with Jackson Dart?
No, he is because they bring him in. Like they brought him in those packages to run the read option last week and 2 weeks ago.
Right. Yeah, you are right. So
he can move. He's way more athletic than Russ is, especially
from that standpoint because you know how a mobile quarterback and like obviously we think of Russ as a mobile quarterback, but like how mobile is he these days? Right? Like
I don't know. It's just very funny because like
it's dangerous. It's risky.
Well, it's desperate, it's risky, but it's like, dog. 2 weeks ago, Russell Wilson threw 450 yards. And I know who Williams.
Caleb Williams just dimed up the Cowboys.
I know who that was against. But all I'm saying is like, you just played the 0-2 Chiefs. Did you think that was going to go well?
I feel you.
0-2 Chiefs. I don't think anyone. Listen. I predicted the Giants to cover the spread, and it didn't go well. So.
Jackson Dart, man. Well,
I'm here for it, bro. But
we'll see, man.
That is the biggest news to take away from week 3. Obviously, we had the Thursday night game last week. You kind of touched on Sam Darnold. The Seahawks come away with a win in Arizona in the desert. The Cardinals are now 2-2. Seattle's 3-1 with their lone loss being back in week 1 by a field goal to San Francisco. Yeah. In a very close game. So Seattle, by all accounts, looks really good. That defense is opportunistic. The rushing attack with Walker and Charbonnet is there. JSN looks like a number 1. Seattle's humming right now. The Cardinals coming back down to earth, I think, a little bit. Were they one of your Cinderellas to start?
Cardinals? Yeah. Cardinals and Patriots, which both are struggling. Yeah, I would say struggling.
Here's the problem with
the offense, man. The offense of the Cardinals.
The Patriots should have won last week. They turned the ball over 5 times.
Yeah.
So
I do like Drake May, man. I do. Like as much as they, hypothesize AJ Brown going there, a good wide receiver with Drake May would be, once again, a little bit under exciting. Whatever that word is, like a little bit under exciting. That word, that's what I am for Drake May in that offense. But I just feel like the Patriots, they're doing it the right way. Like they may have like a down season or a bad season this year, get a top 10 pick or something, but they're heading in the right direction. Building.
I agree with Rabel as well. All right, I'll read off these top 10 power rankings. Obviously we tried to get it on the screen last week. Doesn't quite fit. We'll go through these and then we'll compare them to our tier rankings that we update week to week. Yeah. And we'll get on out of here for week 4, man. But coming in at number 1, no shock until you beat the king. He stays the king. And the Eagles are number 1, coming in at number 2. Buffalo, they look like the best team in the AFC, along with the team coming in at number 3. That is the LA Chargers and Justin Herbert. And then I think those to me are the 3 clear consensus. All 3 teams are undefeated. They look the best. They look the most complete so far. Now here's where we get interesting. At number 4, Scotty and I have put the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Does that mean the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are better than some of the teams below them? Probably not. We don't know, but they are an undefeated team. They are injured in doing so. They will get healthier as the year goes on. Mike Evans is obviously going to miss this week as Chris Godwin returns. That line is beat up. When they get healthy, they will just continue to win games. So I think the Bucs are a very, very good team. Number 5, dropping 3 slots from last week, the Green Bay Packers. You can make an argument that they could be lower on this list compared to who's coming up behind them. I just won't bury them that much for an ugly loss against Cleveland. Jordan Love has to bounce back and be better next week. Number 6, the Detroit Lions. Look, man, they got absolutely thumped in Lambeau in week 1. That's why I would still give Green Bay the edge in terms of power rankings. But that Detroit team, what they showed last Sunday night, was very, very impressive, especially on the offensive side of the ball and the way they controlled the line of scrimmage. Coming in at number 7, the undefeated Daniel Jones-led Indianapolis Colts. They just keep winning games, man. We'll see if they can continue that this week. Number 8, dropping a couple slots from last week, the LA Rams. Look, they gave the Eagles a very tough test, but again, as we mentioned, the only stat that matters is what comes in that win-loss category. They lost the game. The defense obviously blew a very big lead. Special teams was an issue for them late. We'll see what the Rams look like bouncing back. Coming in at number 9, the Baltimore Ravens. And the Baltimore Ravens are just hanging on by a thread. I mean, this was a team that was in our top 4 the first 2 weeks of power rankings, first 3 weeks of power rankings. And they are struggling right now. Them and Kansas City play each other this week, Scotty. That means one of those 2 AFC favorites is going to start the season 1-3. Yeah. Will it be the Ravens? We'll find out. And at number 10, remind you, these were done before Thursday Night Football, so it doesn't count in terms of week 4. We have the San Francisco 49ers. And I think even with Seattle's victory, you can still make that argument. San Fran is undefeated, and they do have the head-to-head win against Seattle back in week 1. So San Fran slides in at 10. Seattle's right on their heels, as well as a couple other teams you can make the argument for. But that is our updated week 4 power rankings.
Yeah, no, I obviously agree across the board. We did this together just for transparency. Yes. But no, I did want to comment on the 49ers and the Seahawks. You look at the 49ers, man, they're 3-0, but they've done 2 of those games without Brock Purdy. They've won games with Mac Jones. So I do believe Brock Purdy is on the brink of returning either next week or this week or the following week. I know he's I believe he's returned to practice. I think I think so.
I think so.
You can fact check me out there for sure on that, but he's definitely returning soon. Hopefully they'll get George Kittle back. They're playing without some guys. They don't have Brandon Ayuk right now.
Yeah, you're about halfway to Ayuk being eligible to return.
So, I mean, to, go and take care of business against the Cardinals team that is looking to improve and excel in this division this season, and just take care of business with them last week. That was impressive to me. And they've already beat the Seahawks as well, right? To your point. So you're 2-0 in the division, at least, right? Who they play week 2? Is it the Saints?
Yes, they played. Yeah.
The Saints. Yeah, the Saints is that token win right now. But yeah, I like the 49ers in that spot. Your point on the Ravens, spot on. They're just we got to figure out what they are, man, and we're going to, because they play the Chiefs, they play the Texans after that, and their schedule is not getting easier. Loved your point on the Rams. They're right there. Just played a really good team that was not gonna lose that day. And the last thing I'll say regarding the power rankings, I think the top 5 is pretty clear cut. We'll see where the Tampa Bay and Green Bay finish this week. Yeah. I imagine something will change there, right? Something in that top 5 is changing this week, because you got the Buccaneers playing the Eagles, and we'll see what the Packers do. But the last team, the Colts, that's the team I just wanted to comment on. Them and the Niners, they just seem to have like an identity. I think it's somewhat of an identity, right? Defense, running the football, and just making the big plays when necessary by the quarterback. And it's going to be interesting to see how those 2 teams specifically continue to move forward. The Colts, man, you're 3-0. continue to dig that division, like just bury the Texans, man.
Big matchup this week too.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. They're going to be tested, but I'm interested to see what happens with these teams, man. The NFL's going to shake up quite a bit over the next.
You are right. Our power rankings are definitely going to possibly move around pretty drastically because, I'm looking at this and we'll get into our tiers in a second. I'll pull them up like Eagles, Bucks, right? We keep saying until you get dethroned, you remain the king. And, the Bucks, I think we have at number 4 right now. It feels like a little bit of a reach with the Packers and the Lions and the Rams on their heels. Like, are they really better than those teams? But if the Bucks start 4-0 and beat the Eagles this week, does that slide the Eagles down below the Bucks, right? It might not make the Bucks number 1. It might make the Bills number 1, but does it put the Bucks at 2 while the Eagles go to 3, right? Because that's kind of how we have to hold this list accountable because like we had the Packers still ahead of the Lions. The Lions are playing better ball more recently, like this past week. But the Packers had the head-to-head. The Niners had the head-to-head over Seattle not making the list. So it'll be interesting. The Bucks, the Eagles, the
Rams,
the Rams.
That's
so
they could flip-flop potentially.
Things are going to start to move
Ravens
around, man.
Could drop out of the top 10. So it is it's an interesting week.
Which brings us to our updated tier rankings. Now, look, guys, these are just overreactionary. We're doing this for fun a little bit. You see teams dropping down week to week, moving up week to week. Look, Green Bay sitting in the playoff contention, but, is Green Bay still in Super Bowl? Could they still make the Super Bowl? Absolutely. But right now, I can't give you that edge right now. The Chargers and the Lions move up from playoff contenders to Super Bowl champ contenders. The Ravens and the Packers slide down a slot. The Colts are inching. The Bucks are inching. The Niners are inching to kind of find their way up one more tier. A lot of teams have moved into that stinks category, Scotty. I think we started the year
with like 3?
With only 2 or 3. I think it was the Saints and the Browns. Possibly Carolina, but I want to say we put Carolina in better than last year.
Yeah.
Obviously, Carolina with a big win this past week. So you can make the argument we're not being fair to them and not moving them up. But a lot of teams have visited them. What the Falcons just did this past week in Carolina was a disaster.
Michael
Vegas
Penix,
against Marcus Mariota.
We didn't even talk about Michael Penix, dog.
Right. The Giants are 0-3, can't move the ball. The Titans, even though Cam Ward's exciting, 0-3, got smacked. The Browns come away with a win. Let's be honest. Let's just not overreact too much there. Are there any teams? Don't worry about like Super Bowl champs, playoff contenders. I think those are as close to one and the same as you can get on this list. But like when you look below that, like how close are the Jets to being in the stinks category, right? How close are, the Jags or the Vikings to moving up a slot? Like what teams would you possibly finagle and move around here?
I'm looking at the stinks, man. I think all of those fit. Just none of them are overly impressive in any facet of football, quite honestly. Better than last year. I agree with those. I would say the Jets are they're on the brink of stink. I'm interested to see what Aaron Glenn can do over a whole season there. See what he can do there. He seems like he's got a good culture setting type of leadership attitude.
Yeah, until you start dancing down the sideline when the game's not over yet, and then your defense picks up a field goal losing drive.
So, yeah, I think they're trending towards stinking. The Cards and the Patriots, I think they've shown so far that they are better than last year. And the Bears, big win against Dallas. They've, kind of had an up and down start so far, you could say.
Yeah.
Great start at Minnesota or against Minnesota in Chicago. Then you go and blow that game. You get blown out by the Lions the following week. And then you get a huge W. You go out and you score big points against the Dallas Cowboys and kind of contain Dak Prescott to an extent. So that was interesting. I do agree with that ultimately. Then you get up to no man's land, man, and there's kind of there's 2 teams that kind of send me back and forth, and I guess you could say 3, but the thing with the Bengals, man, no Joe Burrow and like just no definitive timetable on his return.
Yeah, no, they were in playoff contention before this week.
It leaves them in no man's land, so that's honest. But I guess the Jags and the Vikings, they look like teams that the Jags, for example, right? Their division, like. How good do we think the Colts are? Like, for real. Like, I know you said Colts trending up towards Super Bowl. They will never be Super Bowl contenders for me, man. Like, never.
Listen, I agree.
The Niners, maybe when Brock Purdy returns, maybe.
No.
But like,
sorry,
really,
Terry, but
no.
just for the sake of the list, that's the only reason.
But the Jags, I could see if Trevor Lawrence, like not that he's going to become a top 10 or top 12 quarterback at some point, but maybe top 15-ish football for the season, could get them back in running for that division and for playoffs. The Vikings, I think they do have like a system. It's like they just need a quarterback, right? And if Wentz can just play decent football, if JJ McCarthy comes back and can just play decent turnover-free football, they have the system around them. That looks like a playoff team, right? Like they can run the football with Mason in the backfield. You got 2 good wide receivers. You got a good defense. It looks like a playoff team. Do you trust Carson Wentz? Right. Do you trust JJ McCarthy?
They're missing they're missing the most important position in all of sports, potentially. And that's what hurts. Right?
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, that's a good way to cap it off. Man.
The Bengals are missing the most important position in all of sports. The Jags, I'm so happy you didn't mention the one team because that team's not quite missing the biggest position in all of sports. Dak Prescott hasn't looked bad. I mean, he didn't look great this past week.
CeeDee Lamb.
You lose CeeDee Lamb. Javonte Williams gets the ball taken right out of his hands on their opening drive. George Pickens bats a ball up in the air that gets picked. There's a lot that went wrong, but I'm so happy you didn't even touch on that ugly star sitting in the middle of the screen because they are just in perfect territory, right? They're going to win enough games because of that offense to where they're never horrible. But that defense is as stinky can fucking stink, man. That defense is so bad. Is such a joke. And the funniest part about it is they've looked the best against the Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, they did.
Now again,
week one,
we always go back to this very odd game, right? Because to be fair, they really didn't. They looked good for 2 quarters because the first half, the Eagles scored on all 3 drives, like touchdown, and then a field goal in the second half or whatever. So they weren't successful in the first half. They got lit up by the Giants. Like Russell Wilson quite literally is being benched like we just talked about. And he threw for 450 yards and multiple touchdowns in your house in week 2. And then you went to a struggling Bears team who just got their teeth kicked in the week before. There's questions all about this young quarterback and the new play caller and the new head coach.
Got his confidence back.
And you can't stop a cold in Chicago.
298 passing yards, 4 touchdowns for Caleb.
I mean, bro, they're running flea flickers. DJ Moore sitting wide open in the back of the end zone.
Trayvon Diggs getting mauled out there, dog.
Bro, they can't stop the run. They couldn't stop me and you running routes right now. They're so mentally fragile on the defensive side of the ball. And then you add in turnovers on the offensive side. They're not a good football team, but they'll never be awful. So they're just perfectly sitting in no man's land. And they will be in no man's land until someone no longer owns the team.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
I know we're about to wrap up the show and head on over to Faithful. So if you guys are watching right now, I know it's a weird time for Turf Talk. It's early on a Friday. But for those of you that are watching right now, make sure to check out the DSM Philly YouTube link. We'll be live there in a couple minutes once we wrap this up. But the last thing I got to say, man, and I know he didn't just say it like today. I think he said it last week or something. But speaking of that owner in Dallas, did you hear him say if we could trade the draft capital we got for Micah for an impact, for a game-changing player, we would do it? I'm being so serious.
I know. I saw it, brother. I saw it.
You senile bastard. You traded
you gonna give him a
biggest
new contract
game-changing player you could ever ask for.
Incredible, man. It would be infuriating. I don't know.
What would you do? Honestly,
is it comparable?
If you lived in Dallas, Texas, or the surrounding area, and you were a Dallas fan through and through, and your two favorite teams traded Luka Doncic and Micah Parsons in their primes within a 5 to 6 month span, what would you do?
I don't know. I can't relate to that. Like I don't know. I guess you'd have to reconsider some things, but I don't know, because I was going to ask you, like, are they similar to the Sixers? Like, I don't know. Like, they're not. Like, the Sixers didn't.
It would be like if the Sixers and the Eagles traded Maxey and Jalen Hurts, or Maxey and Saquon, or Maxey and A.J. Brown in 6 months. I only use Maxey because he's more in the prime than Embiid at this point, but like Embiid's older in the injuries. But like 3 years ago, that would have been like trading Embiid and I don't know.
They're the closest thing to the Cowboys I can like relate with. Like, I guess that's the way I would put it. I'm not saying they're on the Cowboys level, right, but they are the ones that I could like relate with, I guess.
Fair enough.
Just think about like the Ben Simmons turmoil, the James Harden turmoil, the draft,
just the drama. The drama every year. It's something different. We believe faithfully. This is the year.
We buy in hard.
Early playoff exits, self-inflicted shit. Yeah. They are the Cowboys right now. They haven't won. We haven't won in forever. Like the Cowboys haven't been to an NFC Championship in my lifetime. The Sixers have been to one when I was 3 years old.
The Cowboys would be like trading Joel Embiid after he wins MVP.
Yeah.
Like trading Micah Parsons after
we're not
he's the
that
defensive
bad.
player of the year,
we're not all the way gone, but we are going to go talk some Sixers in a few moments. Jared McCain torn UCL in his thumb in a workout. Team and doctors have to get together. No idea how long this is going to put the kid out for. Quentin Grimes still not re-signed. Saw your tweet, brother. So we'll talk some Sixers. We'll talk some Eagles Bucks. We'll talk some Phillies clinching a wild card bye in a few moments, guys. So make sure to check us out on Twitter at DSM_media. Follow us, and then the link tree in our bio will take you directly to the YouTube link I keep talking about. So make sure to check it out, tap in, and subscribe. Peace out, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.